responsible. Do it.
No, I just come on to talk to people. I don't have all these fancy things like you do.
Hey folks, Lester and Jamie here. Fancy things. Jamie don't have all these fancy things. I like to go by while we're in the green room and put highlight different little comments that I'm able to read while we're waiting for Jamie to get ready. And then we never want to start until just in time. Oh, this is funny. This is the one that look, JL. I think someone did that to be funny. I'm pretty sure someone did that to be funny. They put their name as JL with a hearts and little, they're trying to get my attention, and they did it, Jamie. And they got little hearts on their little face. And then I can't see what the little picture is, but I think I see cows. Do you?
It's goats.
Oh, those are goats? Goats.
That's not on your face. That's on the screen.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I guess my computer's dirty because I thought I had a big mark on my face. And as I moved, I saw, wait, that's on. It's kind of stationary. So I had to scrape that off. It's going to annoy me the entire time. So funny that someone is named JL, because over here, this other comment that I'm reading is, how come we're not at the JL? You know that the last 2 weeks, and let me go ahead and remove all of these comments. The last 2 weeks, we have been over at the other property, and I promise you, I'm going to give Jamie a chance to talk, but I'm trying to catch up with where I was at. It's cold, y'all. It's very cold. Why are you making that face for?
Because we're not at the JL Ranch because of Lester. That's why.
I just said it's cold.
It is cold. And when it's cold overnight, like we've stayed in the RV the last 2 Sunday nights, and when we've stayed in the RV,
hold on a minute. Before you go off and create some kind of a tall tale, Jamie has this horrible fear that we're going to run all the propane out of the RV. We don't want to ruin. We don't want to waste our propane. So when we stayed last time, it was so cold, and she made me turn off all of the heaters, and it was freezing over there.
And he made me become the big spoon. Huh? And I'm tired of becoming the big spoon.
I don't mean to put my hand over your mouth. Stop. Don't. Now you just really ruined.
You were going to do something. I don't know what you were going to do.
To fill up my drink is where I was going.
Go fill it up. I'm going to tell him all the whole story. Because
Hold on.
No, you hold on. You're going to throw me under the bus and say, I don't want to use all the propane because...
You told them when I was the little spoon.
Because you told me that you needed to be the little spoon. Both times that we went to the RV, the last 2 times.
Please, you're going to mess everything up. We're having a good live.
It's a great live. It's a great time to share all the tea. Because you literally backed up into me.
I was cold.
Told me, you're like, I just need to be the little spoon. And I'm like, I don't think it's that cold. It wasn't that cold when we went to bed.
Please, people are going to think horrible things about me. Everyone take that image out of your mind right now. No. Take the image out of your mind. It's not like what you're imagining. It was cold.
It's exactly what you're imagining.
It was freezing cold.
It wasn't that cold.
And I'm like most men, I'm the big spoon, but it was so darn, you really messed up the beginning of a great live.
Hold on a second.
We were going to have a wonderful live here, and you had to start off.
I believe your words were, I just need to be the little spoon tonight.
Just that one time. People are going to take that wrong.
Twice.
The one time it was 3 a.m. I don't remember what happened at 3 a.m. What happens after 3 a.m. you just don't need to talk about. But
So anyway, we stayed home because this is where we can both get some sleep. And his is on the couch and mine is in the bed. And I'm not being the big spoon tonight. I just draw the line. That's it.
listen, I'm going to need everyone to completely take that image out of your head, because I'm Longhorn Lester, and Longhorn Lester being the little spoon that's not
2
very
times.
Longhorn Lesterish,
2
though.
Sundays in a row,
Jamie,
friends. Sunday Fun
Jamie,
Day has
please,
a whole new
please.
meaning.
So
Somebody says Lester needs to wear socks to bed and get an extra blanket. He needs his own blankets in his own dog bed or something, because he will somehow separate. Like, I'm a layers blanket kind of person, right? I like my fitted sheet, then my flat sheet, then a like thin down comforter thingy, then a little fleecy thing, and then a regular
babe,
quilt.
Look what this sweet lady's saying. That is not very Longhorn Lesterish.
Well,
And
add
it's not.
Add it to the Longhorn Lesterish things, because it is a thing. If you do it more than once, it's a thing. It wasn't just a fluke. Wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and don't know what you're asking for.
Hold on. So you got that all wrong. If it happens once, it's just it's an occurrence. If it happens twice, it could be a mere coincidence. I can promise you one thing: it'll never happen a third time. Because a third time
$1 million
means it's a pattern, and there ain't no. I am not going to become a little spoon. No.
I bet you $1 million that if we were at the RV tonight,
well, that would have been
somebody would have been the small spoon again, and it wouldn't start with a J and end with an Amy. Okay, it was not. It starts with an L and ends with an Esther.
This is the funniest thing.
What?
Someone wants to rename me. Hold on. Look what you started.
I hope that's a shirt that comes out.
No.
I hope that you get a tiny little spoon for Christmas from somebody, that somebody's takes the time to send you, one of those little bitty baby spoons.
No, what'll happen is somebody who has an Etsy shirt thing will end up making Lester as a little spoon. It's probably going to show me like in a fetal position.
It's going to be a spoon.
It's going to show me like in the shape of a spoon, and it's going to have you behind me, keep protecting me. Please don't anyone do that.
Here's the thing.
I cannot believe Etsy people who go out there and they hear an idea. The best one of all time was the pea patch shirt. So everyone knows that we joke around with Brienne for being Brienne, that's my niece, for being the pea patch. Jamie, what's wrong with our blind? And so I'm always doing this like Brienne does. That's what a pea patch does. And if someone doesn't go on to Etsy, who does the t-shirt stuff, and makes a pea patch shirt, and it shows someone peeping through the blinds, I don't know. No, this is nothing affiliated with us.
And now this is what turn this way, turn sideways.
This
is what this right here.
That's not how that's okay. Stop.
He suddenly gets tiny little bitty T-Rex arms, and he's all like this, curled up, stealing all the covers. Like the bottom layers of all the covers somehow end up with Lester, and the top one that's been tousled and isn't so comfy is all that I end up with, because Longhorn Lester is a freaking teaspoon for the night.
I don't know where to go with this. I'm normally a man of few words anyway, but now you made it especially difficult to find anywhere.
Can't find a bridge. Can't find a way out of this.
I'm trying to find some kind of a segue to move right on out of this over here. So someone asked where you buy your clothes from. That was one of the questions that I saw.
That's really where you're going to take this. We have a Sheen is a big place I shop at. There's also a place in town called Bealls, Bealls, and it's kind of like a Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Ross-ish. It's like not secondhand, but second season store where you're buying name brand stuff that's not this year's at the mall stuff. Those are my two big places, I think. Okay.
I've seen the Sheen stuff comes in the mail. I've seen a few of those packages. Donna asked, how is Bree doing with Amy's situation? So I don't mind talking about that a little bit. I think that Bree's video, Life on Morrow Hill, was a really raw, raw with emotion. It would illustrate anyone that loves an animal, and I think understands that that animal has suffered enough.
Yeah.
And at some point, I remember that it was, I believe it was the vet or someone told Jamie, I forgot who, but you'll know when it's time. You will just, something will tell you when it's time. And I bet you that anyone who's had an aging parent or an aging relative, a partner who's been sick, maybe you've just kind of known when it was time. You know, does that make any sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that with all that's gone on with poor Amy, which is Brienne's older horse, I think that Brienne just, something just told her it's time. It's just time. So let's not. I was going to try, if we could, to change the culture of the live. Picture this. When I say change the culture of the live, of course, every creator is going to hope that their people, which is all of you, our social media family, will try to keep it positive, keep it uplifting, high spirits. But could we not ask so many questions? Because what happens is Jamie and I start the live. This goes to any live, Jamie's live or my live or the ones we do together. And we kind of already have an idea of what we would like to talk about on our time. And sometimes it gets to be where people are demanding and asking so many questions that it begins to feel more like an interrogation. And so Jamie and I believe every creator, will answer every question that you probably have throughout the course of this live. We normally go for about an hour. And I can promise you, in the course of that hour, Jamie and I will talk about everything that we want to talk about, everything that we want to talk about on our time. And it will do that without being coerced into forcing ourselves to talk about things based on the demands of a family. We want to try to remember that we are a community here. And if we were sitting together at a restaurant having a drink or a coffee or having dinner together, no one would be comfortable with someone demanding to know answers. That makes it where it's not very friendly. And so if we could keep it friendlier, and in saying so, I think that the way the culture of a good life, and you can help me anytime you want to, but I think the culture that we would like to have is that some channels are able to have people who comment on what they're talking about. So as we go by our list of topics to talk about, the comments can kind of flow based on the topic of conversation. The same way if we're all having lunch or dinner and Jamie's talking about her favorite drink, then my questions or my comments to her would be focused on basically what the topic of conversation is about. Help me with this. Don't just sit there so coy.
I was waiting until you got through your sentence. I think that a lot of times that people in our world, not just Lester and my world, in the world, feel like we live in an on-demand, setting. And when they want to know something, they go to Google and ask it. I'm guilty of the same exact thing. If I want to know it, I will figure out what to do. But Lester and I really treat our lives like we're sitting across the table from y'all, and we like to have a conversation and to be able to kind of go through the motions. And we're really good, or at least I feel like we're really good at the end and saying, okay, we'll take some questions now. What can happen sometimes is there's so much distraction in the comments because people are demanding to know things that it starts to trigger emotions that don't align with what maybe we sat down to have a conversation about, or the mood that you're trying to be in for 98% of the people that came here. And if it is something that is, I don't want to use the word triggering, but if something it's provoking an emotion that we were trying not to dive into that day, it can be really upsetting. And it can take everything for a spin that you weren't prepared for, and it takes the joy out of doing a live. It actually makes us want to just do pre-recorded videos that we we're able to plan and edit and execute. So for us, it's kind of like it's kind of important to be able to just sit down and have a talk. And also, I'm sure there's been circumstances in your life where maybe you weren't ready to talk about something just yet, and that you wanted to be able to gather your thoughts and to be able to speak in a way that didn't let all of your emotions come out in the wrong way. So I think that it's just kind to be able to be considerate, and not just to Lester and I, in other lives that you participate, and in other real life that you participate too, that there's a lot of emotional intelligence that you can gain in conversations and in your life by trying to understand each other's feelings.
Yeah. And then I think that pretty much everyone that I know who does go live on occasion, at some point will go to a question and answer towards the end of anything in particular that you would like to address or talk about. We kind of open up the floor for those conversations. I'm all about knowing that people want to be heard. And that's what I've made a few comments about recently in videos, is that I get it, that you want to be heard. You want to have your voice heard. But the way to make that voice be heard is not to put everything in all caps and scream and holler and then repeat it multiple times and then be very upset when someone doesn't reply to your particular comment. It's just, I think it would be, that's a whole lot like a kid in a classroom who may be doing this. And at some point the teacher will get there, but we're not trying to ignore you, but we want to stay focused and keep our instruction focused and to the point. And sometimes that can be a little, when you put those comments in all bold and all caps and you're repeating the same thing, you are nothing more than that kid in the classroom who's.
Were you that kid when you were growing up ever?
No. And so you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person. Not at our age of life. But Jamie's right. Let's just remember that we're your friends here. We are friends. And I think if we can try to have friendly conversations, and so instead of interrogations. So Jamie and I have been really busy. Yesterday and today, we have started with our Christmas play. Our Christmas presentation. Everyone knows that we are kind of big on celebrating, or at least acknowledging, holidays. And we really enjoy our Christmas play, our Halloween special, different things that we do throughout the year.
I would say, I think Christmas and Halloween are our two biggest.
Those are the two biggest.
And then absolutely. I would say April Fool's is in there too, but Christmas and Halloween are our top. And Halloween is not just a one-time event. Halloween is like a month-long
things throughout the entire month.
But Christmas is one big to do, and it takes a lot. So we spent the whole weekend filming, and we still aren't done.
We had to use Jamie's old camera because her new phone is the one she uses for work, and so she stays busy, and she also does her videos. And so we knew we had so much footage that we were going to need for this Christmas presentation that we got an entire phone out, cleaned it all off. So everything that we filmed is on that one phone, which is kind of scary. If the phone was to go down, we'd lost a lot of footage.
I put it on the cloud, so it's double backed up.
But we are really excited. I don't know this for a fact, because I think that every year the plays and the things are pretty good. But I'm really excited about this one. We got a lot of people involved, and I don't want to give anything away. I want it to be a surprise.
You have no idea how hard it is for him to not share a snip. I know. And I was like, no, it has to be a surprise. I don't want to give any hints at all.
This is true. I did want to share.
He did. But it was so fun. And I have to say, I can say that the kids are involved.
Yeah.
And the kids are getting good. And it is turned out to be an incredible collaboration, and I cannot hardly wait. And the kids that were involved can't hardly wait. They're like, oh, Christmas is so far away. And it's crazy because it's not because they're excited about presents. They want to
see the Christmas play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they have no idea how much time it's going to take us to edit this darn thing, find the music, try to find stuff that's not copyrighted so we can make sure we can all enjoy it and not get a strike on our pages from having copyrighted music. We try to have the kids sing certain songs. I almost got the karaoke machine out and did it myself, but
I spared y'all that.
yeah, but we're having a lot of fun doing it. But that will be Christmas morning, I'm guessing. We'll always play it early, so when you guys are doing your Christmas stuff, at some point you can sit down and watch a little I'm a Survivor Christmas special. So, it's going to be a fun one this year.
Connor walked into Deadman's Live in his outfit, and people saw it.
Connor,
whoopsie. That's okay. It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't give it away. It doesn't give it away.
I can bet you Connor walked in, and they're like, "What in the world are you wearing?" And he probably walked in. And go, "Oh, well, we're doing a Christmas play." And
well, the funniest part about that is that poor Connor's pants were too big, and they are held up by a ponytail holder. So that probably was a bigger question that Steph and Buddy are asking than just about what he's wearing, because we make things work around here, okay? We are not professionals.
Now, if I start seeing all of y'all leave to go back and find Stephanie's video, y'all can do that when we're done here, guys. We don't have too much longer. Y'all can do all that when we're done.
And they said that Connor kept quiet, didn't say a word about what was in it. So
good
job, Connor.
Connor's good, y'all. Listen, like Jamie said, some of these kids who are growing up in families of video creators, they're learning on the fly. They're learning fast. And to watch a few of these kiddos work with us this weekend, I'm thinking, dang, these kids are going to be good.
They're going to be real good.
Now, of course, Connor has his own channel on YouTube, and he makes the cutest videos. Now, they're kid videos, y'all. They're not adult stuff that we would make, and with animals. They're just kids, I guess, watching other TikTokers and other YouTubers and just trying to imitate a little bit what they see, but in their own style. And they're really, really great actors.
And they have their own visions as well. And that was one of the neatest things about this weekend, is that each kid understood the assignment, we'll just say, but also took their own spin on it. And it was just like, it was amazing. It was just a really, really neat experience for both of us. We kind of took a backseat to our own play at times.
Connor did get called into the live, but he absolutely did not give anything away.
That's awesome.
That's good. I love Connor. He's so good. Yeah, it was a Lex weekend. The sad thing about Lex is that this weekend was the last weekend. This is the year where I do not get Lex for Christmas. I don't get him till the 28th. And so I will get him on the 28th, and then we'll have our Christmas. Oh, we should also announce, while we have a pretty good numbers, Jamie and I, Jamie has family coming in town next Sunday. And so I will be the chauffeur from the airport, bringing everyone home. And that's during this time. So we will let you guys know now that next Sunday we're not going to be able to do a Sunday night sanctuary Sunday like we enjoy doing. We will absolutely make sure that family comes first, and so you guys grant us that if you don't mind. Just be aware that we have family coming in. Jamie's excited about it. Be her son, her mom, and Kendra and Xander are a complete joy. And Jamie's mom is going to
she's going to be watching.
I know. And she's going to also be giving me a list of things to do. Jamie's mom cannot sit still.
Well, your day just got better because mom's coming 2 days early. That's right. Mama's coming Friday night. It's going to be so good.
So bottom line is, we will not be able to do our live Sunday night live. We'll do other lives that we normally do. But Sunday night, we're not going to be able to do it. So next Sunday, you'll be without us. But I'm sure.
Timeout Tuesday. So not this Tuesday, but the following Timeout Tuesday.
You should wait until Tuesday to announce the next Tuesday.
Don't miss this Tuesday.
They're gonna miss this Tuesday. They're gonna
Don't
say,
you miss
Jamie's
it.
not going live.
Don't you miss this Tuesday. It's very important. But next Tuesday, I'm taking a break, y'all. I'm taking my time out, my own time out. But there'll be we'll put videos up instead, so there'll still be something for y'all to watch. It just won't be, our date night together.
Wow, these comments tonight are out of this world. I hope that's a good thing. Is that a good thing?
All I remember is there was a show called Out of This World. Remember that?
Encourages their pages. I hope that I don't know exactly the context, Stephanie, of what you're saying, but I hope that what you mean is I encourage all of the kids and the other my family members, to absolutely get out there and work and make some videos and share their lives with you all, because it's been it's changed our world, y'all. What we've found ourselves doing over the last 4 or 5 years has just absolutely changed our world. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work. My God, we've never been so busy. I was never this busy as a school teacher, as a bus driver, and as a coach. And I did all 3 of those things for so many years. And trust me, during football season, when you're there at the school till 7 or 8 o'clock every evening, and then game nights are till 9 or 10 o'clock at night before you're actually leaving school, then your hour drive home, you thought, wow, I sure am busy. No, this is the busiest I've ever been. And I know you are even more busy. You have your full-time job, plus trying to make some videos, edit your videos, upload the videos, and we're doing them every single day. Every single day. And it's funny.
It's a crazy time, but I feel like I feel though that like me walking outside to make a video is sharing my thoughts, and they're all my therapists some days, so
Yeah.
it helps me get through as well. But it is busy, and I don't know what we would do without it, though. Think about that. Like if we weren't busy and didn't have animals to care for or things to take care of.
Well, so hold on. So you can't say if we weren't busy and had animals, because I speak for myself, but I've always had animals and I've always stayed busy with the animals before there was social media. That was a part of that. So what I do now, I guess my thought has changed a little bit, the way I process everything. Now I still take care of the animals the way I did before social media. Now I only do it with one hand, because my other hand is holding that camera the whole time. So I really have become a one-handed type farmer, where one hand is doing what I have to get done, and the other hand has that camera trying to capture moments to share with our social media family. So it's made it a little bit difficult, but so that part would be the same as far as the chores that you have to do, how you maintain things. The part that's a little bit different is when you get home, you don't just come home to sit on the couch and put on your Netflix or your show. You got to make sure you take that same video and then go edit, cut out all the stuff that doesn't make any sense, kind of tie it into where it makes logical sense to you all. And then if you want to add some graphics to it or add some music along the way, try to make it an entertaining and enjoyable video, and then upload, and then go back the next morning and read all of your comments and make sure that everything's kosher. And it's a lot of work, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I don't think you would either. No, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'll tell you what I would trade for anything.
What?
Okay. So I am not in a bad mood. I think you all can read my facial expressions, and this is no filter tonight, y'all. No filter. We are no filter. Jamie says no more filter, and that's fine. But listen, so a couple of things that's kind of funny, but it's not really funny. We had the person or persons calling all of our neighbors, trying to find who owned little Gary. All right. We also have had another incident where a lot of our social media family are taking it upon themselves to call around to vet offices in our area, and I'm going to probably say every county adjacent to our county, trying to find us a vet. Guys, you're giving vets our numbers. They're calling us confused about who we are and who you are and how we all tie together. And I've had to apologize to so many people and say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And then they've called and reported fires that don't exist. Our poor fire chief and then other folks who've been a part of the fire department are answering phone calls. I don't know if it's just I don't know if it's people being overly, I don't know if it's just mean or if it's just you think it's funny. But yeah, don't call on our behalf, y'all. You don't have to call on our behalf. We will take care of our vet visits, because I can't imagine the phones that are tied up when someone gets on this thing and you want to just reach out and you call all of these offices. Well, how come you're being so quiet tonight?
I'm reading.
Oh, you're just reading?
I'm waiting for one. There's a name. I'm waiting for a name.
Someone says, everyone just stay in your lane. And so that's the same thing. I would not be, if you were to email me and say, Lester, I'm having a hard time finding a cardiologist, I would never would I ever go find your address, find your area, and begin to look around your area and begin to call every cardiologist trying to find someone who can help you with your situation. That's what we will do. We'll take care of that.
And I know that people are invested in and probably do have like a good intention. I like to think that people have good intentions and think that we're just too busy to handle those things. I promise if our life was too busy to make phone calls, then there's something wrong. If our life is too busy to ensure the care that our animals need or that each other need or something for our land, if it's so busy that we don't have time to be able to obtain that help, then we've crossed a line and we have to look inward on those things. I just I think that I like to try to see the good and see the people that mean well, but I promise that we really will make the calls and really will make our connections and build our relationships to be able to build our resources as well. And if we flat out say to you, we need your help, totally different story.
Yeah.
You know, and we've done that before. And that's where I think that maybe those people don't know us well enough to know that we are prideful people. But also, when we've reached the end of our rope and don't know the answer and can't find the answer, we will point blank ask. And we don't have egos so big that we can't ask for help.
Yeah. It's just kind of invasive, and then I can only imagine, and this is from talking to a few people who've called, knowing that you've called them and have been very persistent. And I just don't think that that's going to ever be a good relationship. You're going to ruin what could be a great relationship between us and a potential vet if you involve yourselves. So I would just say that you watch the videos for the things that you can get out of it. Learn to love the animals that you find a connection to. Find to love your favorite creator who you also connect to, who you share a sense of humor or a commonality. But when it comes to the technical things of running the farm, let us run it. Let us run it. And I know I don't think that you mean any harm. I think that you just find yourself with some spare time. But it's been a little bit overwhelming. And then the phone calls to the post office. That's the most embarrassing, I think, because we have a male lady here at Longhorn Lester's who works her tail off. And
I feel bad because
she's always loved her job until now. And then I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to be mean. It sounds like I'm just being so Mr. Scrooge, and I'm not trying to be Mr. Scrooge, but she has become overwhelmed with the number of packages. She has to make 3 trips, y'all. I'm going to say this. She has to make 3 trips from her post office over to here because we've asked you so kindly and with so much love not to send things to Longhorn Lester's. Don't send things to Longhorn Lester's. We're not equipped to take packages here. We don't have a place for them to drop things off. We have a very solid gate where they can't come up the driveway, and yet you're still doing it. And I don't know if I'm guilty because I'm opening gifts and goodies so that we can show people what blessings we've received, but that's not an excuse to send things. And then if you don't see me or Jamie open one of your gifts, a lot of folks are calling the post office demanding to know if it was delivered. And so that poor lady, when she shows up over here, you can just see the stress in her face.
The hate for us.
She said that she's always loved her job, and this is the first year that she does not like going to work. And so it's taken her 3 trips to drive in and come back out, drive in and come back out, drive in and come back out because of packages that you're sending. And so I would just ask you again to, as kind and as generous and as sweet as you're trying to be, just know that we're not set up here for that. And it's not fair to her.
No, but if they go to the sanctuary, guess who else goes to the sanctuary? We do. And we will get our packages there. We have a place to put them. It's a better resource for us. And that's the address that we utilize for the sanctuary. It's actually the business address of Longhorn Lester's. It's the business address of From Suits to Boots, because we're equipped to be able to handle that. So,
yeah. So I think that we've been on housekeeping for a little bit. So we'll go ahead and jump off of that now and answer. We're going to talk about some things that we want to talk about.
Hold on. I have to answer one question.
Okay.
People keep asking what I'm drinking, and this is what I'm drinking tonight. It is a salted caramel deliciousness, and I'm treating myself tonight because I worked hard today. Do you want to tell them what you're drinking too?
I don't know what I'm drinking, but I've seen someone ask me what I'm wearing. So this is my second time to wear this over here. What does it say?
Count it all joy.
Count it all joy. I'm guessing that's a Bible scripture. I don't know. But this here is so Sean, that's Keeping It Dutch. Mm-hmm. His wife has also started herself a channel, and her channel's called Count It All Joy. Mm-hmm. So they sent me this last week, and I've worn hoodies.
It's on top of the rotation, and I was kind of hoping that this would provoke a shirt drawer clean out, because the shirt drawer won't close again, but it hasn't happened yet, sadly.
This is kind of funny. Have you guys heard about Brooke Cogg? So it's actually Brooke Smith. But yes, that's Jason's wife. Jason and I chit chat and talk on a regular basis, usually every day. And so we know that Brooke is not feeling well. I did reach out to Jason and offered to drive over this weekend or next weekend, whenever. I know next weekend with her family being here would be a great time for me to go to Alabama. I could go to Alabama and work fence with Jason. But no, I did offer to go and spend the weekend with him. I says, you know what? Don't worry. I'll bring my own RV. I'll be fine, and I can help you build some fence, and we can get some stuff knocked out and give Brooke a break. But as of now, he says they're good, man. They're good. They're also very prideful people, and but I give you my word that if Jason gives me the sign, I am there. I am there. But we'll talk about little Gary. We'll talk about Sandy, and we can talk about Ringo. I guess we'll kind of call it sort of the state of the nation, sort of. I will say that Ringo's doing wonderful.
Anymore? Huh? How come that's not working anymore?
I don't know. Ringo is doing wonderful here at Longhorn Lester's. A lot of folks know that he has some arthritis issues in his front legs, his knees. And it's a little bit hard for him to get around on the hills, the terrain here. But what we've done is we've begun to give him the CBD oil. We're mixing that oil up with his Fig Newtons or his little bowl of cereal. And that has made a world of difference. Ringo is once again a feisty little firecracker of a man,
He
a little
ran.
man.
He ran this weekend and was pretty caught up with the herd in running back into the pasture. And I was like, who is this guy? Like seriously, a brand new man in Ringo that we haven't seen in a while. And boy,
So we're
really
gonna keep that CBD oil on order, because that has been the one thing that is, I think it's fairly inexpensive. I'm not sure you buy it. I don't know how much it costs.
I think it's about $20 a month.
But it's not a prescription.
No.
And so we don't have to go to the vet and get a prescription refills. But Sherry's saying that she needs some CBD oil. Sherry, I think we could all use some here and there. I actually mix some with my coffee, but I haven't seen a difference in me. It does not. Maybe
I don't think you're taking enough.
Maybe I need more, but it's not made a difference with me yet. But I want you to know that Ringo and all of the goats from I'm a Survivor are doing wonderful. We have no goat issues whatsoever. Well, hold on. So, well, I say we have no goat issues. We do have a couple of goats who keep getting out, but I made a video about that, and we're going to address that. I will be taking Starla and Finn back over to I'm a Survivor, not because we don't love them, but because I don't think that they're as safe here, because they refuse to stay inside the pastures.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I think it's important because we do love them to go back, and it's because they keep getting out, relentlessly getting out.
They are getting out. They find ways to get out in the craziest of spots. But so we will one day this week. I'll drive them back over and set them out with the 5 goats, the 5 fainting goats, and then Ellie's little special goat named Hero. And so they will rejoin those guys. And the good news is Ellie's pastures now have his grass is growing. His ryegrass is growing up through the other grass, which is great. There's the green hay that we feed over there. There's always dry hay. There's an amazing barn. The Littles barn is an amazing place to go bundle up if you're cold. And so I'm not concerned. Taking the other goats away to give that pasture some time to heal has been great. And so overall, goats are doing wonderful. No one needs to worry about the goats. I know today, Amanda, the lady who sent the fainting goats over, she came to visit, hang out. She hung out with Megan and Ellie today. I don't know if they've already videoed but I'm certain they'll have videos of that. But she texted and said that she was just so impressed with how clean everything looked and how amazing the pastures were. And then all of her babies look so darn healthy. And so that's great for them. I'm glad that she was able to come by and get a good, see that they're doing so wonderful, because they are.
Yeah.
They're doing great. And so, yeah. So when as far as goats go, we can just check it off and say all the goats are doing wonderful. And then all of the big birds are great. We're not having any problem with the big birds whatsoever. Carl or Tat sometimes will have kind of a grouchy day here or there, but the females are right there in the pasture beside them, and that's making them stay a little bit more, not quite so agitated. They have the girls right there. They can kind of peep over the fence. They eat together out of the feed trough, so they're able to share meals, and so they're doing fine. Tex and Santoro are the only 2 bulls that we have here at Longhorn Lester's, and they're able to find plenty to eat. We have all of our ryegrass has come up. It's nice and thick and green. If you've seen any videos, then you'll know that this place has turned green. It's a beautiful color green too. It's not your typical grass. It's more of a very bright.
It's a vibrant color. It almost looks like we alter the intensity on the cameras because of how green it looks. Ryegrass is a beautiful thing, and maybe it also is because all of the trees are dying this time of year that it just looks so vibrant against everything the backdrop, so. But I mean, is virtually neon. It's like a true Kelly green. So it's beautiful. I wish that the regular grass was growing like that as well already, and that we had somehow
at some point
skated right past winter. But winter is at our doorstep today.
We need a good winter. We need a good cold winter will give us a very easy spring when it comes to insects. You know that's true. What you don't want to deal with are gnats and flies and mosquitoes and all of those things. And a good cold winter will give you months into the spring before you got to start dealing with all that mess. So we don't want below freezing like necessarily, but we need some cold weather
But
to
it's
really.
coming tonight.
I know we're excited about that. I will say real fast.
Who's we?
Okay, well, I'm excited about it. I like the cold weather if it's cold and sunny. We also have gotten lots of messages, pictures, and even short video clips of Charlie and Susan, and they're doing wonderful. They've discovered water, and the new owner, sweet lady, is just so tickled to see them out there in the water, like hanging out in the pond.
We had a couple of pretty hot days this week. Believe it or not, even though tonight's going to be 30, the days this week, there were a few days that got up in the 80s again with some humidity. And the lady messaged, she goes, "They're in my pond, like a lot in my pond." I'm like, that's fabulous and wonderful. I've never actually seen those two go in. Wanda and Debbie, I guess, have been the most pond ostriches that we've had. So the lady said that they were in the pond and really being able to enjoy that. So that was a really neat thing to hear.
And then, so I think that pretty much covers all of the animals. We're going to skip the dogs for now, but that covers all of the farm animals here. Over at the J and L ranch property, the cows are doing amazing. We did have the visit with little Gary, and I'll just say that things went pretty much how we expected. I want you all to know that Gary is not out of the woods yet. Is that the expression?
Right.
Gary's not out of the woods yet, y'all. He still has a very serious infection on the inside. And so,
and significant healing to do. His injury is not one that you put a band-aid on and heal. He had some pretty significant internal injuries. So what we know is that our treatment is the right treatment and that we're going to maintain that and keep going and follow up in a couple weeks if necessary. But that the treatment that we're doing right now is the only treatment that there is to do. So
and I do think the treatment is working.
it is.
If anyone has been following along on Gary's journey, I think that the sparkle, you can look at his eyes, you can look at his demeanor, his body language. There's a lot of things that we see in Gary now that we didn't see before. What we saw before was a bull who had just kind of given up. He had no hope. There was not a lot to live for, and he knew that. Animals, they just kind of know. And then he found a little bit of spark. We've made him move a little bit, and we've found, him some delicious grains to eat and some other things that he's been nibbling on. Getting that first round of antibiotic penicillin into him was huge. The B12 has done a lot to lift his spirits. Moving him to the lot where he's right next door to all of our cows might have been the best medicine, because they all come by and they communicate. Now, it was kind of scary yesterday. After he began to feel pretty good, he got up and he walked over to check some of the girls out, and Waylon was not happy about that. Waylon began to kind of like moan and do the things that bulls do when they're getting agitated. At some point, Waylon starts digging, and then Gary starts digging. And so now we have one bull who can barely stand, and he's trying to dig to let all these girls know how tough he is. So we will absolutely have an issue with that at some point. But our plans, now that Gary is, I would like to say officially ours, even though there's nothing on paper to say that. And I've been warned by a lot of people that you might want to have something in writing before you just assume, because you've already spent so much on vet, you've already spent so much in getting things ready and set up for him. You don't want to have someone show up later once he's all healed and say, "Oh, well, guess what? I'm taking my bull back now," But if that happens, then that happens. That's not going to, we still do what we do for the animals not just because they're mine or they're Jamie's or they belong to us. No, they're animals who need help. And so we are in a blessed position to be able to help them. And so we offer help. It was great to know that we'll be able to potentially have Gary as one of ours. But we said from day one, he will never be a breed bull. He's not a full-blooded longhorn.
No.
As a matter of fact, he probably has more of the, Jamie, help me with that breed of cow. It's a Piney Woods
cattle.
Shorthorn. It's a Piney
Yeah.
Woods Shorthorn. And so it was confirmed yesterday from the visit that he has a lot more of that Piney Wood Shorthorn in him than he does Longhorn.
Yeah.
And you can see that from different things, from the way his horns, not how they protrude, because Longhorns can protrude in many different directions, but it's kind of the placement of the horns on the head, which is a big definer of how much Longhorn is in them. And so, yeah, so we've always known that he's not going to become a breed bull. He will never be a bull like Tex or Waylon, who will have his own herd, not with us. But what we will do is, once he's healthy, we will go ahead and have him castrated or neutered, and he'll become what they call a steer. Right now, he's a bull. That means he's intact. But a steer is
like Moo,
a bull who used to be a bull, and now he's just kind of he's in
the friend zone.
He's just going to run a friend zone. Yes, he's not a threat to any other bulls or to any other ladies. He's just kind of a big galoot of a friend. So, but no, absolutely keep little Gary in your thoughts, and we will continue to try to do what's best for him. And then at some point, if we ever make it official that he's ours, and I think that all I need to do is shake a fella's hand, maybe get something on paper, then we'll make that happen. But as of now, I've still not met my neighbor. And so I will have to figure out exactly.
We've talked to him on the phone, though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We even talked today. He wanted to know how the vet visit went and all of that. But yeah, we will absolutely keep you guys informed on that when it happens. I'm kind of jumping around to all the different properties. Back over at I'm a Survivor. Tonight, we had to put the blankets on the horses. It's going to drop down to be pretty chilly overnight, pretty cold. Rita is, and I feel like I'm talking. You can talk about Rita. You can.
Rita doesn't have as thick of a coat as we would like her to have. And that's probably because she's young, and also because horses in a natural environment, over time, their bodies are able to roll with the weather. And our weather is schizophrenic, bipolar, and can't make up its mind. So her body hasn't had enough time to build up a coat to sustain these little cold spurts, because then it would blow its coat to be able to maintain the warmer weather. So she has a pretty thin coat, and Voodoo also has a pretty thin coat. Just his whole life, he's been a thin coated horse. So we made the decision to put their blankets on tonight. Actually, to put everybody's blankets on tonight, because the weather will get cold, and because it was a cold and blustery day. There's no pun intended with that from the Winnie the Pooh stuff, but it was a cold day today. The chill was in the air. So this evening, before we came back here to do the live, we put coats on the babes, and I think it went well. How do you think it went?
Well, I answer one question. Rita loves her blanket. Rita felt very special to be wearing a blanket out there in the pasture, because Stormy didn't get hers. Rita had to get hers on first, and that made Rita feel just 10 times bigger.
Yeah. So, Stormy was second in the girl pasture. So I walked up to her first to let her smell it. And there's a video, of course, that I made about this. But she did not, she walked away, which made Rita suddenly like, I'll do anything that you want. Please allow me. And that was kind of like we're dealing with a little bit of like a power trip lately here with Stormy Rita. Like, obviously Stormy is older, wiser, and has been trained a lot more than Rita has, and Rita's learning from her. But what it's also done is create some pretty significant jealousy in this, the girl pen, and I. I'm enjoying it, but I also feel a little bit bad for Rita. And today, when Storm walked away, Rita saw that as an opening and she took it. She did not care what we did to her. She was there for it. And it kind of worked out really well.
It was actually pretty scary because when you put on a horse blanket, two of the straps have to go underneath her girt, her groin, around the back end and snap.
Crisscrossed.
They have to
underneath.
crisscross. So a lot of folks know when you put on those horse blankets that that could be kind of scary if your horse in fact kicks. But Jamie was a real champ. I videoed her putting those on, and I know she was nervous about it, but as she did it, and Rita was just so good. So Rita's coming around. I really do think that
I was going to
Rita's
say
coming
that
around.
I don't think 2 months ago that she would have allowed us
No,
to do it like that.
no.
And
you did it with, you never had to really, there was no halter. You never put a rope halter on her. You just did it while she was eating, and
Yeah.
she was great. Not all horses would allow that.
it was a surprise to me too, actually.
The
Like,
Packers are doing great. So lovable. That little Okie is just an amazing character. Their little Ziggy is just so, what a joy.
they're a pair.
Yes,
Ziggy and Okie
Okie.
are a funny little combo. Like, they're like the odd couple running around the pasture, and they both love to chase and think it's funny. And you also play into that a little bit. And
Oh yeah. Well, you all know the way I don't know if I really feel this way, but I like to pretend, y'all, that they want me out of that pasture. I like to pretend that they want to chase me out of there, and they get this joy of running me out of that pasture. So when I go into the pasture, I allow them to chase me. I scream and holler like a schoolgirl. That's probably going to tie right back into that little spoon thing earlier.
I wasn't going to say it. I couldn't even make eye contact with you because I didn't want to call it out.
So I run and let them chase me. And before I know it, there's Ziggy who's chasing me, and there's Okie who's chasing me.
The geese are right behind them.
And I play along. But at some point, I'll break out of the pasture and I'll be breathing hard. I'm like, okay, I did it. And they both look like they are just 10 feet tall with what they've done. They run me out of that pasture. They got rid of me, and they saved the day. But they're wonderful. The pigs are great. They all got a treat today. We cheated on, everybody cheated today. Lex and Connor wanted McDonald's. And when the kids want McDonald's, that means that normally you, as the adult, sometimes find yourself eating the same things the kid eats. And so if your kids want McDonald's, now she and I are having McDonald's, but we don't crave McDonald's. We don't want it. We just, it's like there. So we order it.
Because we don't have time to stop anywhere else. Like, we only get one shot at whatever.
Well, yeah, we can't go have Mexican while they're having McDonald's. That doesn't work. So we have to all do what the kids do. They're not here enough where we have to force them to go eat with us. So it was McDonald's twice this weekend. And I know for all the folks are going to be just disgusted with that.
I was disgusted.
We were disgusted with that. But that's what the boys wanted. They have those darn blue frozen Fantas, and that's really why they want to go. So I took all the leftovers over to Pig Trudy, ended up sharing with all of the pigs. And so the pigs are doing amazing. So there's nothing to worry about at any of the three properties, y'all. Everyone's doing fine. We got a very close eye on those that need a close eye. We're doing all that we have to do. We have a routine in place. It's a little bit of driving on our end, but you know what? We do what we do, and we enjoy doing it. And I guess now there's no other way to continue talking without talking about Sandy. And you can jump in anytime. I do realize that I've talked the majority of this live.
I'll be honest with you. I have really struggled with being able to both I couldn't make a video about Sandy. And then today I posted a picture because I want to recognize and acknowledge and be transparent, but I also know that I'm allowed to have my own feelings in my own time, and to be able to talk about that grief isn't anybody's, room to pressure me to do so. But I have really struggled, um I guess because it took me a little bit to even admit that she was really took a liking to Lester. Like she wanted to be where Lester was and do what Lester was doing all the time. And I loved her. I absolutely loved her. And she loved me and she loved us, but she mostly loved Lester. And I wanted him to be able to have his own grief and feelings about the scenario, I guess, before I would allow myself to as well.
Yeah, I have tried to talk a little bit about it, and it's harder because if you were to lose an animal to a parasite or to a disease, we've lost a couple to cancer, we've lost a few to parasites that we couldn't cure, and that's one thing. You lose them to predators, you always try to second guess and try to figure out ways to stop the predators from coming in and getting close to them. But when you lose one to an accident, I mean, it doesn't change that it was an accident and that you lost an animal. But
I think we do a lot of blame and a lot of trying to understand, and it is just I don't know, when you're trying to do good and you're trying to take something from a situation that where you feel you are the better situation, and then an accident happens, you really question all that you do.
I will say that what happened to Sandy was the first time that we've seen that happen. No, it's not the first time that Texas got mad and raked a horn. We've seen Tex toss. He's tossed a number of things, not just blue barrels and red balls. That bull can turn it on and turn it off that fast, which is why it's quite scary to work around large animals, especially if you just don't know what mood they're having. You need to really, like I've always said, you got to keep your head on a swivel. And so Sandy, who wanted nothing more than to be around the animals, she loved feeling like she was doing her job in herding, Herd, herding the animals around. And she would get out there with the goats and try to move them to this pasture and move them to this pasture. It was cute to watch. Reminded us of like those sheep dogs they have that jump on top of those sheep and will keep them sheep moving. Sandy, I don't know exactly what kind of dog she was. I'm guessing Australian Shepherd. Does that sound right? Or
I think so.
maybe. But she loved to be around the animals, and she would do the same thing with the birds. And she also would do the same thing with the cows over at the other property. But those are mostly female cows, and they're not going to stand up. And ultimately, the cow's like, you know what? Screw you. I'm not. They'll do what they want to do. But she must have caught Tex in a bad mood, or in a mood of not wanting to play. And I did not see the incident, y'all. If you've watched the video, it played on both platforms now, Facebook and YouTube, on the Longhorn Lester channel. Then and then of course I went live and kind of described it in detail of what happened. But it was traumatic. It was tough, and I don't hold it against Tex. It just, once again, it reminds me of how powerful of a force Mother Nature can be, and we need to always be aware and not find ourselves in situations like that. But so I know that what happened to Sandy has really bothered a lot of people, and I feel like a lot of people came to this channel after an act of Mother Nature, and they saw a man who was at a really bad spot, and you were supportive as you kind of work yourself through that act of Mother Nature. And so all we ask is that once Sandy and Tex was nothing more than just another act of Mother Nature, not the weather this time, but animal and animal behavior. It's something that you don't control. You just have to hope that your animals that work around each other are smart enough to respect each other. And Sandy wasn't either on this particular day fast enough, or she got cornered, or she slipped, or got pinned into a corner or against a tree or whatever, and she got it pretty good. And so it was also hard that we weren't here to get her, and so Sandy went looking for help, and that was a hard thing to watch. The videos that Mr. Marshall had recorded of Sandy looking for help, because we weren't here. We were doing other things. We were doing other jobs at other properties, and that's no knock on us for having other responsibilities. Because, like I said this morning, we could have been at Walmart. I could have been at my Thursday night with Lex. It could have been, you don't stay home and sit there at your pastures and watch 24 hours a day because that's just impossible. That's not logical. That's not rational. But it was an accident with Sandy, and it was an act of just knowing that we're a real farm, a real working farm. And I tried to remind folks about the whole Walt Disney connection, how Walt Disney always has a happy ending. Kids are not going to leave out of there crying. Well, they did for Bambi, but for the most part, kids are not going to be leaving out of there crying. They're going to leave out of there with a happy feeling. And sometimes on a real farm, not every feeling is a happy feeling. Sometimes there's ups and downs. And I just ask that you remember that and keep that in mind. And if you've never had a real farm experience, you might not get it. Maybe if you've only had petting zoos, then you understand animals as far as what they do when you offer some feed, and how they come up and they let you love on them. And that's sweet and that's cute, but that's not real farming. That's not a real working farm. And so dogs must be really smart, and they have to be aware. Just aware is a great word. But we did eventually find Sandy. We wouldn't stop until we found her. We followed the trail that Mr. Marshall had given us with his camera, so we knew a direction. And so we finally found her Wednesday afternoon, and she had succumbed to her injuries, her wounds. And so we did what we prefer to do. We don't like to bury animals here because we have clay. So let me explain this real fast. I'm not trying to get gory on all the details, but we do have clay. And right now, after a drought, that clay is solid. It's like trying to chisel through a brick wall. We have roots with all of the trees, so it's hard to bury here. So what we've learned is that if we have an animal who passes, we'll do it a different way. We will choose to do the cremation. I still think it's proper and it's fitting, and it's still returning that animal to earth, to the earth, just not in a traditional. We're not having a traditional burial. We're having a traditional animal cremation. And I've gotten pretty good at that, Jamie. I will say I'm pretty good at that cremation. Had to do that after Hurricane Harvey, obviously, with hundreds of animals. And so I've learned. And so we did it with honor and with respect. And we tried to keep it simple enough to where you would understand what we were doing from the video, but not graphic to where you had to actually watch if you didn't want to watch. And so, you want to say anything about Sandy? No? But we will miss Sandy. She was a good girl. She loved me something crazy. And then I also said this morning that I think that my biggest guilt in losing Sandy was when I went to build you all a video just to kind of memorialize her and to remind us about how wonderful she was. I never took time to video her as much as I have the other animals. And I think it's always been on my mind that eventually we'd get that phone call and they would want her back. We kept waiting, for a text, a phone call. The pastor has my number. We text all the time at the church. And I thought at some point that neighbor is going to say, hey, what's the guy's number? Or can you call the guy? And we never got a call that they wanted her back. And so we just kept thinking that she's going to be a foster dog who will eventually, more than likely, just become one of ours. And she loved it here. She absolutely loved it here. So we will miss her. But
sorry, I just can't.
Okay. Well, the last animal that I guess we can talk about will be Tilly. Jamie already announced that Tilly is in fact pregnant. The blood results came back last Monday, and so Jamie talked about on her Timeout Tuesday live that Tilly is pregnant, and so we will continue to have a Tilly watch and make sure that she's always got whatever she needs as far as warm bedding and a place to go out of the weather. And so we can't wait to see a baby from Tilly. And if Tilly's pregnant, I'm going to also assume that so is Sissy. So we're excited about that. We love babies around here until they start getting out and eating all of Jimmy's plants. Then they're not so cute anymore.
I still love them. In fact, I made a video today talking about how much I just love them. No, I do love them. I just get annoyed. You know, you all have things like that in your life. I'm sure of it. And then you feel guilty for getting annoyed because you love them so much.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a tour around all three of the properties. We have to, the only hard part about having blankets on the horses means we have to get over there early to take those blankets off. A lot of you guys know that temperatures can plummet overnight and then get up to be pretty warm during the day. And so a lot of people make a mistake of putting on a horse blanket and then just leaving it. It's going to get cold again tonight.
No.
It'll be cold again tomorrow. And so the problem with doing that is that your horses, when the weather warms up, they begin to sweat. Yeah. They have those blankets on and they begin to sweat. And then when the temperature drops, now that blanket is wet. Their coat, their fur is wet. And then they can get a chill. And so you don't want that. You have to get home in the morning. And it may not be bright and early, but at some point, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, when it starts warming up, you pull those blankets off and then you let them air out. And in case there is any sweat, let your horses go out and enjoy a day without the blankets. They don't need them during the daytime hours if it's warm enough. And then,
so what Lester's saying is we're getting up early in the morning and headed back to the sanctuary.
At least one of us. We don't both have to go. Jamie's working the horses really good by herself, but one of us will be back in Plum Grove. Someone says it'll be 40. See, this is another thing. It'll be 40 in Plum Grove by 8 o'clock. So I'm not making fun of you, but how would you know that? That's just like saying,
don't worry, we plan to be there at 7:30, but it's, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
So I'm going to switch the tone a little bit here. People were asking, some people don't know about our Christmas videos of past. We do have plans to revisit those. And I've also been playing an older video each night around 8 o'clock at night. Facebook gave us a new place where you can go look at memories from a page. So I'm able to see every year what we posted on that day. And I'm picking one to reshare. So you can see some throwbacks every single night at 8 p.m. Central on the Sanctuary Facebook page. And we will find all those old Christmas videos and play them over the next couple of weeks as well, because they're as foreign film cheap as you can get, but they are also hilarious.
We've had some good ones. And then remember, whenever you're working with animals and children, and most of our plays have to evolve around animals and children, they don't always have the same vision. And you're gonna, when you see the outtakes of the video we're making now, I think that you're going to understand how hard it is working with animals and children, trying to get them to do what you want them to do.
Shoot, it's hard to work with each other in those things. If you are the one that has the vision and you don't tell that person, I need you to stand here and say this just like this, you're just going to get just frustrated throughout it all. So the outtakes will be top notch. That's what I could say.
One of them that it might be one of my favorites is I just saw it pop up over here.
I saw it too.
About when Bree was the angel.
Brinley.
Here we go.
Brinley wanted nothing to do with being the angel that day. And that was the most challenging piece of the Christmas production that year. I will never forget it.
Lost that.
I lost it too.
It was her favorite one was when Brinley was the angel. Y'all, she cried and she cried. She wanted to be her kind of angel and do what she wanted to do as an angel, not what goes along with the Christmas story. And so all we were doing was retelling the Christmas story. And I'm like, you got to trick them. You got to find a way to bribe them.
Her costume itched her too much. Then she had to go potty. She did not want to be anywhere near any animal that day. Like there was no production in her soul then. Like it was rough, but it was hilarious at the same time.
So we have another big one in the works right now. We have some funny footage. But I was told Jamie that I think that the best video we may get out of this, the video will be fun. It will be a fun Christmas story. But it's going to be funnier maybe the day after when we do an outtakes video.
It will be.
Because that right there is going to be crazy. But there's a lot of folks who are coming back late asking questions that we've already answered. So this
they can
live,
watch from the beginning.
Yeah, the live, whenever we end it, you'll be able to go back to the beginning and watch all the way through. And so don't think that you missed anything. You can just have to watch and catch up to your part. But is there anything else you wanted to address or talk about, or anything that people have been asking about? No, you're good.
I'm good to go. We've been on here an hour and 20 minutes.
We've been on for a while, but so this is what we can do here if you want to. Now, this might be a good time towards the end of the live, instead of everyone just asking all those questions from the get-go, is we go ahead and say, if you have a direct question, then feel free to ask the question right now. But all I need to do is warn you that I may not be able to read or even see every question. They're flying up so fast. We are blessed to have a very large audience of just over 10,000, but there's 6 different channels here. So you may be watching on Longhorn Lester's Facebook, and so you're only seeing comments on Longhorn Lester's Facebook. But no matter what channel you're watching on, what we have is a place to bring all of the channels together. And so it's showing the different YouTubes, the different Facebooks. And so it's really hard to catch questions. Did Gary get a tetanus shot? Gary got everything imaginable. Gary got everything imaginable.
Who's Laramie? Laramie is Brienne's husband.
Laramie is Brienne's husband. We have no idea what caused the wound on Gary, but it absolutely could have been just the swelling and an
abscess.
Abscess, yeah. So I'm going to just skip the question that we've already talked about. A lot of people are asking about Finn and Starla, about Tilly being pregnant, about how's Ringo, about how's LG.
Who's Connor? Connor is Stephanie and Buddy from the Denman Homestead's son and Lex's cousin and best friend.
Yes. Gary's hip is not broke. Gary does not have a broken hip. He just has some inside infections that is our biggest worry. And so once that sepsis takes over, you got to really fight that stuff. And you got to hope that it doesn't begin to shut down any organ that he needs to be functioning right now. And so I will say from his body language and his demeanor, he looks to be doing pretty good. Where's Aries? Do you mean Uranus? As of right now, I don't know. But I'll tell you this. I know of about 10 places he might be. But there is no way we're going to take this camera on a walkabout because our house is a mess.
It's been a weekend, y'all. We got to recover.
I will not take this camera on a walkabout. And then he could be inside or outside.
I was going to say,
because
I'm pretty
Aries
sure he's
loves
outside.
to be outside. He's really enjoying the outside. And you know, Mabel is learning to love the outside too.
And you know what else? Nobody's climbed the Christmas tree yet.
No one has climbed.
So it's a very skinny, tiny little tree, and there's not really room for anybody to go up in it. That was a big win. I think if it was a bigger tree, that we would have problems.
Lester, you cannot find Uranus. Oh, sheesh. But no, everyone's fine as far as all the animals, and that was the big thing. Friends, I think that's all we got for you. I'm not seeing a whole lot of questions that we haven't already talked about, but I just want to say thank you for being understanding and supportive. And I really do think that with the collaboration of all of us working together, we can absolutely change the culture of the live and some of the negativity and some of the hatefulness. And I don't mean doing that by being mean to each other, because someone comes off with something mean doesn't warrant you to be mean back to them, but with respect. And because a lot of times people don't understand, they just need to learn. And so I'd rather you be teachers and teach each other the culture. And so we get to the questions at the end. Let Lester and Jamie talk, allow them to explain, allow them to follow their timeline of events. And I'm pretty sure we'll get to everything. I'm sitting here and I cannot think of one thing that is of major relevance that we've skipped over. Have you? We've talked about what's going on with us. We've talked about we've had a little humor, a little fun talk about whatever. We've talked about what's going on around Morrow Hill, some of the big news over there. We've talked about all of the different properties and what's going on with all the different animals. We've told you about a very tough moment that we had and dealt with this week. We've talked about the upcoming Christmas play,
which I'm about ready to go work on and edit. So I am going to give you a real goodbye because Mr. Texas goodbye here is just dragging it out a little bit.
Well, see, so real fast, I'm seeing that someone keeps asking about Cornholio. I don't really understand what you'd want to know about Cornholio. Like in particular, what do you mean Cornholio? So Cornholio is roaming from home. Cornholio enjoys hanging out with the two peacocks who often fly from home. They come back, and so Cornholio likes to be around the peacocks. Does it scare us? Absolutely. Can we stop it? No. Cornholio he's a farm turkey, but he does have the ability to jump on top of the fence and then jump right over. And so
we've not been so great at the whole girlfriends for Cornholio.
We've had so many girlfriends for Cornholio, and girls don't like Cornholio. They just don't like them. They don't like them. They don't like them.
I don't think most female turkeys like most male turkeys, which is why you usually see a male turkey walking around at a farm like that.
Yeah.
So
we will just keep our fingers crossed that Cornholio doesn't find himself into any serious trouble. And, well, there goes someone with the pictures of the spoon. Hold on. I will not let this pass. I need to know this lady's name. I'll be looking for her.
Oh, Lester Morrow.
Did you see all them?
Yeah, I saw it. Thanks, Chandra. That's exactly what I needed to see.
Chandra, you're going to end this with a really funny comment. I hope that once again, anyone that heard that nonsensical beginning of this live with Jamie,
I hope it's stuck in your brain forever.
Well, one thing that will never happen again, you will never have the ability to come by and put your arms around me and squeeze me from the backside.
Whatever. If I do it tonight, you're going to give me the same.
No.
Just don't tell anybody.
then we will have a code word. We'll have to have a code word that says if we do this, this goes to the grave. If we do this, this goes to the grave. So I'm looking for code words here. If anyone wants to share a good code word,
I'm gonna go build my video now.
Someone says the code word is spoon. Code word spoon, Jamie. That means it goes to the grave with us. Guys, that happened once or maybe twice. No one counts. No, you take that back.
All right, 2 times. It happened 2 times.
Someone says code word is pineapple. Oh my God, sassafras. Cuchara, which means spoon in Spanish. Fork. That's perfect.
This has gone completely off the rails.
Thank y'all.
We
Thank
love
y'all.
Thank you so much. I hope you all have a blessed week.
Are you seeing?
I'm done here.
Okay. We are done here.
We're done here.
Ho. Did you already click it?
No.
We're still looking for people to share their videos with them. We want to have an entire photo shoot. And we're missing a lot of pictures. Yes. So if you want to send us a picture of your merch, no one has sent me a picture of them in the camo shorts yet. I know that we sold 54 pair of them shorts. So there's 54 of you out there.
Maybe they're Christmas gifts for people.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just hoping at some point we can see them camo shorts in action. We've gotten some really neat pictures, so thank y'all so much. And we have a few more. We have more we have not been able to add to that. I literally built that 5 minutes before we started.
It's true.
Just to show a little bit. But thank y'all for the merch. It is over now. We stopped the winter merch sales. So we hope that you guys found what you wanted. And then remember, if you have any issue with the merch, that's all handled through the merch.
Through Custom Ink.
Through Custom Ink. That's the company. They do everything from shipping, sizing, returns. They'll do it all. And they've been really good at it in the past. So let's hope that they'll be just as good and on the ball this time around, because it is the holidays. Anywho, thank you all. Oh, someone says, where do I send my pictures? Oh, that's easy. Jamie's email, my email. I use WhatsApp. That's a messenger thing from WhatsApp. You can do it that way. Many folks just will text me their picture, and however you want to do that, you can do it that way. So if you choose to. Oh, don't send a picture of just your shirt, though. We want to see you modeling your shirt. We want to see you. We want to see you. We've gotten a few pictures of somebody with their shirt laying on the couch or folded up on their armrest. But that's not what we were hoping for. That's sweet of you. But we want to see you guys in your merch. Let's represent who is I'm a Survivor. Who is Longhorn Lester's? Who is From Suits to Boots? And who will wear them gosh darn camouflage shorts? That is a video all in itself, Jamie.
That sounds good.
Thank y'all for watching. We love you so much. We'll catch you guys on the next video